165 here.
What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling a little bit more like Amazon after the market as opposed to Amazon before the market. And let's see what's going on. Let me just throw the SPY up as you guys are just kind of piling into the room. Oh, man, you guys are here bright and early on a Friday. I love it. We got Chuck. Good morning. Albert, good morning. Andy is in the house. Good morning to Ashlyn, Bill, Brian, Corey, Eric, Greg K, my boy Greg G, Jason P. King, good morning. Jay Linder, Joe, Lou, good morning. Mark, Martina, Rock, Ron Beatty, Tanya's in the house. Good morning to Tony, Win, Wale, good morning. Everybody out there in YouTube land. We got Richard Jet, we got Craig. Good morning to all the lurkers just sitting in the background, not making any comments. I do love and appreciate you guys. Franco's in the house. Good morning, Franco. Mark, good morning. Bill, good morning. Tony, good morning. Oh, man. Whew. The squadron's here. The squadron's here to play. Let's go. Let's see what we can do today. Keep in mind, today is going to be interesting. So, I don't know. I mean, obviously, anytime you get into a trade, you're trading probabilities, you're trading statistics. You're also trying to manage your book of business, right? This is a business. This is not a little hobby. It could be, but even a hobby treated as a business, right? So it's the end. If you are positive, like a lot, and you could take some more trades, great. If you are up slightly, and if you take one more trade, that could throw you to the negative, be very, very careful. Maybe sit it out. It's okay. It's okay to miss a day. But the idea is you want to trade consistently profitable. So know where you're at for the month. Keep in mind, this is your last day of the month. If you're down slightly, you can take one more trade and try to get to the positives. Fantastic. Just know that this is the end of the day. Also, for the SPY, what I'm watching for very, very closely, if we do get any type of run up. So I've been looking at this kind of inverse, almost head and shoulders on the SPY. Or at least some kind of, so this would be my left, there's the head, that would be the right. This, any close, I believe on the monthly, I'm looking for a close above, really 413, but I'm really looking for like 413.56. So somewhere in that's going to close the monthly candle, it's going to close the weekly candle, and we could go from there. So I was doing just some, I was looking through all kind of the weekly candles, all that stuff, but there's some interesting ones that I found could be good, but again, I don't know. Maybe 413 might be a little too tough today. We are gapping down slightly after another wild earnings day. So right now on the SPY, we're still kind of holding. I don't love the spot we're opening in. I think we're gonna have some kind of issue. Which was kind of still hanging in there. I I would love to see us get a little bit higher before the market opens. So that would take us to I'm looking for about 411.88. Right now we're sitting right around 411.58. So if we could get a little bit higher before open, okay, well, we're probably going to run into a small little spot of 412.30. And then maybe we're off to that 413.50 zone, and we'll see where we actually want to close. We do have options expiring today too. So monthly options are expiring, weekly options are expiring. So we're definitely going to have, I think, a little bit more volatility and a little bit more chaos today. It's very, very possible. Chuck says, so earnings flat overall. What difference does it make? Are you talking about Amazon? Overall, no, I wouldn't say earnings are flat. No, earnings are telling a little bit of two different stories. Yep, you got things like you. I don't know your definition of flat because you're allowed to just create your new ones. So I'm not sure, but like if you look at something like Microsoft, I would not say that's flat. Right? If you look at something like Net, I would say that's probably not flat. So they reported, Cloudflare reported last night, and they got absolutely housed. Overall, yeah, but you're always going to have major beats and major not, right? So what they're talking about is the indices. So they're talking about the SPY in general, right? They're talking about the Qs. Yeah, we're still in this trading range. But what you did get is some internal wheels in motion, right? You have, like I said, those individual companies are starting to make a move. We're starting to see sectors that might be stronger than others, right? We see Amazon, they came in with a 10-cent beat. But the thing that killed them was the forecast, right? So the forecast, they're saying that AWS is slowing down. We've seen a couple of the companies where the forecast has not been that great. Right. So the stock market, when you invest in the stock market, you better not be hoping that you are picking the correct price to invest in. Otherwise, nobody would invest in the stock market. You're picking future values. Right. So a lot of the earnings is important to see how we held up last quarter. And more importantly, the outlooks, the forecast of how some of those companies think that things are going or should be going in the future. That's going to tell us, okay, yeah, economy's going to get rough. Economy's not. How do I set up the next trade? Is that a cup and handle on Amazon? Could be a good setup. I don't know. I was thinking about Amazon this morning. I don't know how I want to play this thing, honestly. But this is probably what you're looking for. So you're looking at this and that. Then if we get this pullback, that would be your cup and handle. You'd probably have to wait a little bit. But Amazon itself is a gap and go, right? So we have lots of volume. What they don't show you on this chart is we made it all the way up to like this zone somewhere, actually probably higher, somewhere up there. So we had a monster move. And anybody that tried to chase it like Microsoft, like a few of the other just runners, the Metas, the companies like that are just crushing it. They go, all right, Amazon beat, big company, let's chase it. And they got their faces ripped off last night. So there's probably either some people stuck in this thing, anybody that did buy Amazon yesterday prior to earnings who felt good for like 12 minutes on a 12% gain. They don't feel the same way. Their emotions have changed. So this is a gap and go. We're not really gapping outside of yesterday's candle. Right, so we're not there yet. And then we also have the moving average just hanging in. We're starting to get into maybe some kind of support somewhere around this 106. Let's call it 106.50. But someone right around that zone is going to be our first little spot. But then you're also trapping people. I don't know. I don't know if this support's going to be good enough. Anybody that invested in here is still profitable. Right, anywhere in this zone, they're still like, okay, but I don't think that they're feeling as great. Nobody wants to invest into something that's slowing. And I saw a comment somewhere, and I think they're kind of right, where Amazon is almost getting AWS is massive, right? It's a massive portion of Amazon, but like they're a retailer company. They do 2-day delivery, they're internet, but everybody's kind of just basing them off of their cloud right now, which is interesting. So I don't know. Didn't PCE come in flat at 8:30? Yeah, I didn't see the 8:30 report. I wasn't around for that one, so I don't know. But we do also have Jerome Powell on Wednesday too. So Wednesday, Jerome Powell is coming out. I believe it's a rate hike. It's 100% FOMC meeting, and again, I'm not sure if it's the rate hike or not. But we will have Jerome Powell speaking in a worst case. So keep that in mind for Wednesday. That's going to be another thing that could affect the markets next week. But kudos to him. So far he's doing what he wants to see is happening. The market's not moving. So to your point, Chuck, yeah, the market is relatively still range bound. I don't think we've really broken out of anything. But again, I'm watching the SPY, seeing where that closes. If we could get a close above that 413, especially above 413.50, 456, that would be a pretty much decent sign that we can continue this bull run. So we'll go from there. But yeah, we looked at Amazon, and I want to short this thing. I just don't know how far this thing's got to go. That's my only issue. Let's go back to that net trade real quick. Yep, AWS is Amazon Web Services, correct. All right. Massive gap down a good solid $14 roughly into a little bit of support. This is a retest gap. I'm probably going to keep this on the list to look for a fade higher. I don't know how I feel about it, but I'm going to look for this fade higher. Let me see. Yeah, this one. Just because we are at some type of support, would like to see it come down a little bit more, probably to like the 44.77 range. Otherwise, I might even take a look at this thing pre-market, see if we have any levels that we could take a break above. But it is down to a good support. It's a major gap. I might try to fade this one higher. All right. eBay. And again, all of that selling on Amazon, that came during the conference call. Intel also reported last night. They did the exact opposite as Amazon. They actually dropped on their earnings when we're looking at it. And then during the time, it wasn't their conference call. Intel already had their conference call. Amazon comes out with their conference call, which is interesting. Amazon absolutely falls out of the sky, and Intel goes up on that. So I don't know. Very interesting. But again, you still have this gap up, technically a retest gap, and we are into a little bit of support. Probably would look to fade this one as well. We are at a key moving average. If this thing starts to fade a little bit, I think we do have some room to the downside. Again, I just don't know how much room to the downside. I think we have my bad. We have a lot of room to the downside. I think it is a very decent downside play, but it is a little bit of a bigger blue chippy name, and trading might be a little tougher on it, but we'll see. If we get the setup, we get the setup. But I'm looking bearish on that one. Coin was the other one I was looking for. So Coin, I liked it off the hourly chart. That's why I have it kind of scrolled up to the top. But we have essentially a double bottom, but yesterday's VPOC was lower than all the previous. So I think we're still weak. And where we're opening on Coinbase, at least on the hourly chart, technically I think it's a gap and go because the last candle's green, but that's a stupid little inside candle. So let's see if we can get a little bit of a bounce first. That would make me happy. I think we can get some kind of maybe somewhere back to like 54.12. If we could get something like that, otherwise this thing looks like it's about to just fall off a cliff. We do have a little bit of support maybe coming in. Again, all of this area should have been the retest into this. And we don't have much room. All the pockets of liquidity is above us. So I think we have pretty much free range for coin to start to drop and get hammered. But that is on the list pretty high. We're going to take a look at that. I don't know, pre-market. I think I want to see that bounce first. All right, we got pins. Sound and resilient. I don't ever hear them use. I only hear them use the words sound and resilient for for the banking industry. I don't ever hear them anything else. But this is definitely the opposite of sound and resilient. This is pins. Pretty decent gap down. Probably this thing could get some kind of fade higher. It's going to be tough to go short on it. I would like to see, and maybe this thing already happened, but 24.14. Let's see. Extended hours. Did we already get down there? Yeah, we already hit 23.46. $23.46. So we already kind of hit those. This is probably primed for a little bit of a fade higher. I don't know how much we're going to get out of it, though. I would say the max we're going to hit is about 24.91. It's going to be tough to short it. I'm not sure how much we're going to get in a bullish direction. It's a pretty severe gap on it. So I probably will stay away from pins. We could watch it. I know pre-market XOM reported they beat pretty nicely, actually. So pretty decent beat on XOM, but they're already kind of at all-time highs. All-time highs somewhere up here about 119. I know this 118 level has been a little bit of a challenge for XOM. So I don't know where we go from there, but they were really nice earnings for Exxon Mobil. CVX, which is Chevron, they beat as well. Again, pretty decently. Market wasn't liking it as much though. So not a lot of movement on Exxon Mobil, and Chevron almost has, is that a 10 EMA? Slight 10 EMA. So there's a little bit of a trend break. Some bulls trying to probably buy it pre-earnings. And we are below that one. This one could be fadeable. Or this one could be shortable. But again, you're still shorting something that it did have really nice earnings. So it could be a little bit tougher. Probably take you to about 164.26. All right, let me see what companies you guys are talking about. We got Meta. Oh, we also got Snapchat too. Chap. We got Meta. For right now, kind of coming and just hanging out. We have, this is what I was watching, this one on the hourly as well. It's probably still decent to move higher, I guess. You're just kind of in a chop zone. So you're not really breaking one way or the other. I would have to watch that reversal candle a lot. So obviously the bulls tried to push it up there. This is a retest double bottom, but all of this is still pretty much essentially in this high wave candle on an hourly chart. We did have one little break and the bears came and clobbered it right back down. So for right now, I don't see a real trade on Meta. We are above yesterday's VPOC, so maybe I'd have to still stick bullish. I think the trend with that gap is still a little bit more to the bullish side. So I just don't think it's going to be the easiest trade. I don't really see a good path unless you're like, hey, this thing is definitely bullish, and I think we get above this 241.72-ish zone. That would get you like, hey, cool, buy it now. Stop would be somewhere probably around, I mean, you could even go to like 236. So you have about $3 risk reward. It does have a big upside to it. So if this thing wants to get going, I think we're looking somewhere in the $300 range. And not today. I mean, maybe, but that would be, I don't. They would have to come out and announce that the metaverse has been canceled, and then this thing goes right back to 300. Well, we'll see. Missed the feed yesterday, so I'm a day late. But eBay on the Gap and Go. eBay. Look at that high wave candle. Let's see what the daily looks like. I do like the fact that we came all the way back. We already did a retest. You're gonna have this moving average in the way. Looks like we tried to break it once. We were not able to. And probably just hangs around. If this thing comes down and starts hitting like the 44.95, that's probably going to be your buy spot. But it's a really nice gap, though. It's a good gap. I like the fact that we're breaking out of all this. Probably chops. What I would assume happens on this one is we probably have more than just one day of bullishness. I think we do probably continue, but we probably chop around for a little bit, and then we finally get that break. That's how I'd be looking at eBay. So let it cool off a little bit. That was a nice gap. Let some profit taking, some shares exchange hands, and probably off to the races. SMN says, "Hi DJ, what do you think about AAL earnings?" I didn't see the AAL earnings, but let me see the chart. I'm not a huge fan of airlines, but I was looking at AAL not too long ago in this double bottom. I think it's still wait and see for me. Let me see what they did on earnings. So they missed on revenue. Surprise beat by 1 penny. It's not a bad spot to put a little money into, I think, but I also have a strong feeling that this thing could come down a lot further. So I was on the fence about actually adding it, and I really don't want to add airlines to long term, but if it's the right price and it's decent, I might have to do it. It's just not my favorite industry whatsoever. Based on the fact that I've taken a plane ever. So, but this is decent. So you do have, like, this is a good retest zone, right? If you're gonna try to buy it, this is not a bad spot. We have probably a little bit of resistance coming in at 1404. That would be if I was trading, that was where I would take my profits. And then wait until we get above 14.29, buy it again, and then that's your trade up to about $16. So it does have some room. It's going to have a little bit of a headache to get through it. But then we're also looking at this little bit of uptrend line. We're sitting kind of at it, but this was our break, our retest. We broke again, another retest. I can see this thing dropping. If we start breaking like 1268, I think this trade will be done. And I just need to see a little bit more. I don't like when things break the uptrends, and we could get in a further out sense. I think we had some more. Yeah, all-time low that I have is about $2.14. I don't know that we make it down there, but we could easily probably even a still smaller gap fill. Somewhere around like $6. So this thing could be shaved in half. That being said, I'm not opposed to it. It is down a heck of a lot. We are back to, I believe, yeah, you're getting pricing now. I mean, not only COVID, when planes couldn't fly. I think they got to be doing better than that. I don't know. But you're able to now buy it for like 2012 pricing. So in that might not be bad. It's not a bad area to buy it. It is off some kind of key support. So I've been watching it. The chart, it's very, very interesting spot. What inflation? Yeah, there's no inflation. At least in the airlines, there's no inflation. It's because they have all those reward points where you just fly for free places for some reason. Wait, that might be why Kohl's is down too. Don't they have their own Kohl's economy? Kohl's cash? Yeah, so apparently when you just have your own ecosystem of money and you just essentially give everything away for free, it becomes a tough business. And then when people actually pay, you then have to pay them 10 times what they paid for the flight ticket to get them to just stay at a hotel because you've overbooked. I don't know. I don't know. But then the people with the free miles, they're like, no, we're taking a plane, don't pay us. Very confusing. Nvidia, yeah, so it's just kind of, well, that's the weekly. I think we're just still in some more chop. Earnings are coming out, I think, in a few weeks, maybe. Yep, so earnings are May 24th. I don't know that we get some continued chop. If you've seen, and this pattern happens a lot during day trades, you'll see the market do this every now and then too, but usually the higher you hang out here, the longer you stay in this zone at highs, just trading sideways, the more likely you do break higher. So what I was looking for the puts that I have, which is like yearly puts, number one, I'm looking for some kind of like crack in the economy. I'm looking for like, well, TSM already kind of came out and said probably earnings or forecast at least is a little bit mellowed, and we don't know what we're going to do. Originally, I was looking for this kind of head and shoulders. That would be somewhere to the extent of like this being the head, that's the left shoulder, that's the right shoulder. This should be our neckline, right? So then right around here should be the top. And then I think this could happen, but it's got to happen quick. I don't like this extended, long, just drawn out period, because then you just have enough time for more buyers to come in, get excited, and be able to push it in the direction that it was, which we're obviously uptrending. And you see things like Meta, who's up like 120% before earnings, and they're still able to climb higher. So I don't know that the move is over for Nvidia, but I have my bets out there that we come down. I still think we're overvalued. I don't think it's the correct valuation still. And that's pretty much why I got the puts with lots of extended time on it. But yeah, any break of that previous high, I'm going to be out of this thing. Day trade wise, just inside. We don't really have a clear direction if this is the top or not. All right, let me take this thing off. FRG. Let's see. FRG. Where's the arrow still there? There we go. All right, Franchise Group. Oh, we just had a franchise guy on the Pivot podcast yesterday. I have to look into this group. Are we moving at all? Pre-market? No. The Franchise Group. That's probably capitulation down there. Nice little gap, retest. Trend probably continues. Question as to how long. I don't know too much about this company. But yeah, looking at like 29.75 would be where I'd sell some shares if I'm already in this thing. Otherwise, liquidity wise, I mean, yeah, even long term, got good bottom off some really nice support. Yep, right into that 29 change, $30 zone. That's where you're going to get your next kind of pocket of liquidity. Or yep, and then you actually hit the pocket probably in here. So if we can get past $30, then yeah, we look good for about 36 on it. But again, I don't know too much on it. I don't see anything day trade wise on it today, as we're just threw in a nice little high wave and we're just hanging out at this point. Rest in peace puts. Bring up VPOC on Nvidia. For yesterday. So yesterday's VPOC, we're opening right now slightly above it. I got about 271.68. Still bullish again. Good little hammer. Nice, almost bear trap here. Inside candle, so resting. And we were not able to close outside of the structure, but we were able to close above where that candle started to sell. So I have to lean a little bit more bullish than bearish at this point. But again, are we actually going to get a good move out of it, or is it going to be breakout, another trap, and we just kind of hang out here for another couple days, maybe till Jerome Powell? We got 7 seconds left. Everybody in YouTube land, I appreciate you guys joining us each and every day. Unfortunately, we're going to be gone for like two entire days, Saturday, Sunday. I think that's how the week works. But you guys are incredible. Make sure you guys check out Real Life Trading. Also, we do have all of the mentorship groups starting live. I am doing a Tuesday morning group. If anybody's interested, where we get to learn about the market and trade it together actively during the group. So make sure you guys check that out. Plus, we have awesome mentors with other groups that probably could also fit your schedule. Otherwise, you guys are incredible, and I'll